You got a good sarsaparilla?
Sioux City sarsaparilla?
Yeah, it's a good one. How you doing there, dude?
Not too good, man.
I'm out of practice.
How do we start?
Okay. Hello, this is the Perfect Movie Podcast.
It's the Perfect Movie Podcast.
This might be our first time recording.
Oh, jeez, Rick.
I hope you guys like it.
Morty, start the fucking podcast.
Welcome to the Perfect Movie Podcast. My name is Michael.
I'm Kalen.
And we are starting Joel and Ethan Coen June, where we do Coen Brothers movies.
If you guys haven't noticed, we're kind of doing we're doing like directorial themes, like our favorite directors. So you might see some more of that in the coming months.
Yeah, last month we did Scorsese. This month we're doing my favorite, the Coen Brothers. We're kicking it off with The Big Lebowski, which in the Coen Brothers kind of filmography, I feel like there's maybe a handful, 3, 4, 5 movies that have kind of, they never made like blockbuster movies or like blockbuster stuff that did gangbusters in the box office, but have gone from like cult to mainstream. Like Big Lebowski was a cult movie, but I feel like it's so ingrained in society now.
Yeah.
It's like a mainstream movie.
Just the character of the dude himself is kind of like an icon in cinema,
sure.
You know?
And I just got to say, this aggression will not stand, man.
Are you employed, Mr. Lebowski?
Well, wait, let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. So that's what you call me, you know? That or his dudeness or duder or, El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Are you employed, sir?
Employed?
You don't go out looking for a job dressed like that, do you? On a weekday?
What day is this?
Well, I do work, sir. So if you don't mind...
No, I do mind. The dude minds. This will not stand, you know? This aggression will not stand, man.
Yeah, Kalen, what's your history with the Big Lebowski?
So the first time I ever saw this, I think I was in high school, so it didn't really hit the first time. But upon the second viewing, I have to say I probably loved every single second of this movie. I love me some Jeff Bridges. I love me some John Goodman. And I love me some Steve Buscemi. And those are our big three in this. It's not so much Steve Buscemi, but he's just kind of there, and he's just great. I love everything he's in. He's such an underrated actor, I think.
Oh, but you can't forget John Turturro coming in.
Yeah, as the pedo.
The Jesus. You fuck with the Jesus, eh?
He just has a wild opening scene where he's like being like real seductive to a bowling ball and stuff. Just a great cast. This movie really shouldn't work. I mean, just the plot itself is so bizarre. Actually, so our narrator in this film, he's like the big star in Tombstone.
Yeah, it's Sam Elliott.
Yeah,
picture a cowboy in your head. It's Sam Elliott.
And he talks like he's doing a commercial for like hamburgers or
I'm
something.
I'm sure he's been the voice of some like beer commercial or truck commercial. I think he was the voice of Ford truck commercials.
Probably.
Or like Dodge trucks commercials.
I feel like I've heard him in like a burger commercial. It was like, if you ever had Big Joe's All-American Meats. Like,
got any more of that good sarsaparilla?
Yeah, from start to finish, I love this movie.
It's funny because I love the Coen Brothers. Big Lebowski, I don't know if it's one of my personal favorites, but it is definitely the one that, like, you say to somebody the name Coen Brothers, and they're going to say either No Country for Old Men or Big Lebowski or probably Fargo.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of the big three. And Big Lebowski is definitely the most fun of this. When I've talked about Coen Brothers previously, I feel like they have like sister movies or like sibling movies that kind of right along the same like themes. And if you've ever seen Burn After Reading, it's a very similar. That's the one with like George Clooney and Brad Pitt, and it's also a movie that's like a noir crime drama, but it's actually about nothing.
Yeah.
Like nothing actually happened.
Right.
But all these characters are getting wrapped up in paranoia. That's a great one. That's a great movie that we're not going to cover, but has maybe two of my favorite Coen Brothers scenes, and I'm just want an excuse to cut in the scene where John Malkovich and Brad Pitt meet in a car.
You know who I am, I know who you are.
Perhaps. But appearances can be deceptive.
Yeah. What you're engaged in is blackmail. That is a felony, that's for starters.
Appearances can be deceptive. I'm a mere good Samaritan who...
Secondly, the unauthorized dissemination of classified material is a federal crime. If you ever carried out your proposed threat, you would experience such a shitstorm of consequences, my friend, that your empty little head would be spinning faster than the wheels of your Schwinn bicycle back there.
You think that's a Schwinn?
Now, give me the fucking floppy or the CD or whatever the fuck it is,
As soon
and
as
I'll
you
be
give
on
us
my
the
way.
money, dickwad.
You fuck! Give it to me, fuck! You fucker! I know who you are, fucker!
And Brad Pitt's like trying to get the money out of John Malkovich, and John Malkovich doesn't even really know what's going on. They've stolen a CD that's actually just like his memoir book, but they think it's like super secret info.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, buddy, you need to give me the fucking CD or thumb drive or floppy disk or whatever the fuck you took from me. I will rain holy hell on you. And Brad Pitt's just like completely in over his head, and at some point he gets punched in the face by John Malkovich, and Brad Pitt's reaction is just, you fuck.
I feel like a calling card for the Coen Brothers is like either somebody got kidnapped or there's like a handoff of money or an exchange of money or something, and it never really works out. So
It's like crime farces.
yeah, literally, it's. And then with our character, the dude, he's just a guy, man.
The dude abides.
The dude abides.
Doesn't that make you feel good, Kaylin?
Oh, yeah.
It makes me feel good.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny because Jeff Bridges, like pre The Big Lebowski, he was a little bit more of like a normal leading man. If you think of him in like Tron or like Starman.
Yeah.
He's more just a normal guy, like a normal movie star.
Right.
In the cut of what's his name from like Big Trouble in Little China. Like I feel like they have very similar vibes. Doesn't matter. And then this movie comes along, and I feel like Jeff Bridges has just been the dude ever since. Like sometimes he's more shaggy, but
Yeah.
like his personal persona, the Jeff Bridges we see every day.
Well, if you think about like True Grit, another Coen Brothers flick, he's basically the dude, but just a bounty hunter because
Yeah.
he's just a piece of shit. You know?
Yeah. So this is a cult classic, all-time great, and it's crazy that they had Fargo just before this, and then they follow it up with Big Lebowski and running theme, kidnapping. Or was there kidnapping?
Yeah.
So should we get in to the drip check?
Let's do it.
Fit check, jacket LL Bean, shirt Sonoma, jeans Lee, kicks, Skechers, watch Timex, Apple, grocery store, peace and love.
I just got to say, the dude has a collection of cozy sweaters
They look real comfortable.
that are really nice, and also lots of cozy pants with crazy patterns on them. This man has not worn a jean or a pant,
Nope.
I'm sure, in like decades. This is a man of leisure and comfort, and I respect it. And the drip is there. Like you said, the dude, iconic character.
Yeah.
Many a Halloween costume.
He's got the shades on. I mean, he looks a little dirty. Like he probably doesn't smell real great, but it's like, he's comfy. You can't hate on him for that.
Well, like he says when he gets mugged in the very opening scene, he's like, "Do I look like I'm married?" The fucking toilet seat is open. Like this is
Fucking toilet seat is open, man.
So he's got a lot of relaxed fits, and then I just want to shout out John Goodman and his array of like fishing vests.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like he's also kind of dressed like, he's dressed like a veteran every once in a while too. Or he has that aura to him.
Oh yeah, he's packing. He
for
looks
sure.
like he's packing. And he is, we find out.
He is the most insane character. Like the dude who goes from 0 to 100 so quickly. Like,
Not the dude,
John Goodman's
John
character.
Goodman's character.
What is his fucking name?
Walter.
Walter. Yeah.
Yeah, Walter's out of control. All right, we should get into the performance test.
Let's do it.
It was the performance of a lifetime.
So Jeff Bridges, he's the dude. He's been the dude ever since. He embodies the dude. Apparently, the dude is loosely inspired by some, like, sort of just like the dude, some, like, slacker stoner ex, like, music guy that they knew in Hollywood.
He
and
said
I feel
he
like,
did something for Metallica or something. Yeah, he's like Ritz. But it's like, we don't know if this is real, like if that's true, or if he's just capping. But
he just feels like he maybe had a crazy 20s and he's been relaxed ever since.
Yeah.
And he's like mid-40s, just leisurely bouncing rent checks and being a functional alcoholic.
I feel like back then there had to be like a bunch of, because this is set in L.A. I feel like there was a bunch of dudes in L.A. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seems pretty close to reality, probably.
So iconic character, but like you were saying, I think John Goodman as Walter really steals the show in every scene he's in because he's a loose cannon.
Yeah,
Shall we
absolutely.
say. He's a chaos agent.
He's honestly the catalyst for all like the bad shit that happens in this movie.
Well, the dude isn't a catalyst for anything because he doesn't want to do anything.
No.
He doesn't go. So if you haven't seen The Big Lebowski, the inciting incident is a bunch of dudes break into the dude's house, beat him up, and been pissed on my rug.
My favorite line about the Chinaman is when the dude goes to meet the rich guy, and the rich guy's like, "I lost my legs in Korea to a Chinaman."
We're talking about unchecked aggression here,
What the fuck is he talking
My
about?
rug.
Forget it, Donnie. You're out of your element.
Walter, the Chinaman who peed on my rug, I can't go give him a bill. So what the fuck are you talking about?
What the fuck are you talking about? The Chinaman is not the issue here, dude. I'm talking about drawing a line in the sand, dude. Across this line, you do not. Also, dude, Chinaman is not the preferred nomenclature. Asian American, please.
Walter, this isn't a guy who built the railroads here. This is a guy.
What the fuck are you
Walter, he peed on my rug.
He peed on the dude's rug.
Donnie, you're out of your element. Dude, the Chinaman is not the issue here.
So who?
Jeff Lebowski, the other Jeffrey Lebowski, the millionaire.
That's fucking interesting, man. That's fucking interesting.
Plus, he has the wealth, obviously, and the resources, so that there's no fucking reason why his wife should go out and owe money all over town, and then they come and they pee on your fucking rug. Am I wrong?
No.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, but...
Okay, then.
That's one thing about this movie is it's like sort of the language is like a virus that people pass around because like certain phrases just like somebody will hear it here and then they bring it back later.
Yeah.
Like the dude hears like George H.W. Bush saying this aggression will not stand. So when he meets with Mr. Lebowski, because the dude was beat up on a case of misidentification, they went and beat up the wrong Jeff Lebowski. When he goes to meet with the rich Jeff Lebowski, he goes, "Man, this aggression will not stand, man."
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of stuff like that, like the guy going like, "The Chinaman took my legs."
We've all kind of been there, though. We hear something that we're like, "Oh man, I should make that stick." You know what I mean?
That's an all-time scene when they're just so after his rug gets peed on and he gets beat up and they take the rug. The dude is in pursuit of a new rug. He eventually tries to get it from the big Jeff Lebowski, the rich Lebowski. But that's all because Walter's like won't let it go. He's like, "No, it fucking tied the room together, man."
He's just always asking about his rug. What about my rug, man? He loved that rug. Shout out to Steve Buscemi. I feel like not a lot of people give him his accolades. He's a man that can play many different roles. So in this film, he's just a dude who loves bowling. He's just some guy that's just kind of there. He's just part of their bowling group. And John Goodman is his famous line in this is "Shut the fuck up, Donnie." Every time Donnie says anything, but then like he'll even stop himself. He'd be like, "Shut the fuck up," and he'd like agree with something that Donnie said. Or, like it's just hilarious dialogue. And then Donnie had the saddest scene in the movie. Like spoiler alerts, Donnie like dies of a heart attack at the end of the film, and it's so out of. You feel so bad for this guy. Like
it's funny because it seemed like a running joke that Steve Buscemi's these like nothing characters that disappear from the movie because he's in Miller's Crossing for just a second.
Yeah,
and his dead body ends up being the catalyst of a bunch of that movie.
Yeah,
and then in this, he's just you could write him out of the movie except that he dies at the end.
Right.
I love when John Goodman like Donnie's like rolling his turn on the bowling lane, and he comes back to the middle of the rug conversation, and he's like, "Dude, what's up?" And John Goodman's just like, "Life does not stop and start at your convenience, Donnie. You're like a child walking into the middle of a movie wanting to know what's going on." he's so fucking keyed up to beat down Donnie at any moment.
And Donnie's just chilling. He doesn't ever like take it seriously. He's just hanging out. But I mean, Steve Buscemi though, like he can play these types of characters. These like silent, kind of like kind of quirky, almost like loner type characters. But then he can also play like an intimidating gangster, which is kind of funny just because of like his stature. He's not a very intimidating looking guy, but he does have like presence on the screen. I think he was in The Sopranos for a couple seasons. He was really great in that. Boardwalk Empire, another great show. He was in the Tarantino flick, one of the first ones, Reservoir Dogs. He was great in that. Yeah, he's just a great actor. Shout out to Steve Buscemi, one of my favorites. Yeah,
he's kind of a funny looking guy.
He is a funny looking dude, but I mean, I love him for it. You know?
How so?
How so? I don't know. He's just funny looking.
That is from Fargo. We're too all over the place. I want to shout out Philip Seymour Hoffman as Brant, the assistant of Mr. Lebowski, because he's doing a lot with a little.
Oh yeah.
His nervous laughter whenever something goes gets a little sexual.
Yeah.
Or just him like trying to introduce, because Mr. Lebowski, the dude is at Mr. Lebowski's residence, and he's like looking at all his like pictures and trophies and stuff, and like each time the dude moves on, he starts the story for the next thing, but he's like keeps trying to catch up because the dude's not that interested in any of it.
The dude is like, is that him with Nancy? Like Nancy Pelosi or something. Yeah, he's great. R.I.P. Philip Seymour Hoffman.
A goat.
Yeah, one of the goats.
A great actor. Shout out to Julianne Moore as Maude Lebowski.
Yeah.
Who is so it's the Big Lebowski is the father, she's the daughter, and she's like this like strange artist / has a lot of connections in the porn.
Yeah. She's a trust fund kid for sure. She just kind of does what she wants.
Well, she says that actually she's the wealthy one and that Mr. Lebowski is like living on her dime, she says at some point, and that he's not actually super wealthy, that he's just the front of his the Lebowski like little friends, his like college fund thing that he was doing. But she's unlike a lot of directors that we've covered. I actually really like all the female roles in almost all the Coen Brothers movies. Yeah, they're interesting.
Does the female form make you uncomfortable, Mr. Lebowski?
Is that what this is a picture of?
In a sense, yes. My art has been commended as being strongly vaginal, which bothers some men. The word itself makes some men uncomfortable. Vagina.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, they don't like hearing it and find it difficult to say, whereas without batting an eye, a man will refer to his dick, or his rod, or his Johnson.
She's sex positive. She's a businesswoman, and she knows what she wants.
Oh, for sure, and she will do everything to get that. Yeah, she really wants a child.
I love one. So they end up, the dude and Maude Lebowski end up having sex halfway through, and she's like, sticking her feet up as he's making another White Russian because he's constantly drinking White Russians. And he's like, what are you doing over there? Is that yoga? And she's like, oh, it helps with conception. And the spit take he does after that is awesome. Lots of white liquid on Jeff Lebowski's beard in this movie.
Such a sweet drink to be drinking constantly.
All day.
Shout out John Turturro again. Just another amazing actor. We both love John Turturro in everything he's in.
Mm-hmm.
He's awesome,
especially in Transformers.
Yeah, he was the best part of Transformers 2.
Hey! Sir. What's this day of rest shit? What's this bullshit? I don't fucking care. It don't matter to Jesus. But you're not fooling me, man. You might fool the fucks in the league office, but you don't fool Jesus. It's Bush League Sega stuff. Laughable, man. I would have fucked you in the ass Saturday. I'll fuck you in the ass next Wednesday instead. Woo! You got a day Wednesday, baby!
Oh, and shout out, we have like almost all the Fargo cast. Peter Stormare as the Nihilist.
Yep.
The lead of the Nihilists. And I just love when the Nihilists, so I don't know if I can even recap The Big Lebowski to you. If you haven't seen it, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
But the Nihilists come and visit Jeff Lebowski while he's in the bathtub, and they bring a ferret and they throw it in the... And he goes, "Oh, nice marmot, man," as he tosses it in there.
I swear, when he takes the marmot out of the water, he wrings it out. I was like, you can do that to an animal? Like, my God.
And they're like, you give us the money, Lebowski, or we cut your dick off. And one of the goons in the background, as they're like walking away, is like, "Yeah, I'll stomp on it all squishy." There's nothing to fear, Donnie. These are nihilists. These people can't hurt anyone.
They don't believe in anything, honey.
And tomorrow we come back and we cut off your Johnson.
Excuse me?
I said we cut off your Johnson! Just think about that, Lebowski.
Ah, you wiggle penis.
Lebowski. Nee, die stamp on it ins Gebüsch.
Sam Elliott, he's kind of our narrator, and then he shows up at the end, or he shows up in between. He's like at the bar, he's talking to the dude. He's just got a great fucking voice, and he's got an awesome mustache.
I love I'll save it for this in art, but Sam Elliott, great. Love his intro. I love his middle scene, especially. There's just this weird kind of pause in the story where we do a little recap, and he talks to Sam Elliott.
Yeah. I thought Sam Elliott was like a figment of his of the dude's imagination for a while, up until the end, and then I was like, this is probably just an actual guy at the bar,
just a random guy hanging out at the bowling alley bar.
Well, take care, man. Gotta get back.
Sure. Take it easy, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I know that you will.
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
The dude abides. I don't know about you, but I take comfort in that.
I mean, there's many great scenes. Oh, I need to shout out one. So at some point, they become convinced, because they're supposed to drop off. The dude is tasked with dropping off the money for a ransom, because Jeffrey Lebowski, the rich man, believes that his young wife was kidnapped.
Yes.
And he's supposed to bring the money to the Nihilists. But at some point, well, that goes awry because of Walter. And then at some point, they think this like teenage boy has the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they show up at his house.
Yeah.
And their dad's in an iron lung in the corner of the room.
Yeah. And he's like some writer, some like really famous writer for some TV show that
Walter's a fan of?
Walter's a big fan of. Yeah.
And they come there and they like interrogate this teenager who just looks at them stone faced like an extra from Nacho Libre, because he's some sort of Hispanic. And when they get nothing from this kid, because this kid has no idea what's going on, he goes outside and they assume there's this new Corvette parked on the side of the road that they assume this kid bought with the money that he stole.
Yeah.
So Walter grabs a golf club and goes to the car and starts whacking
Just
it,
goes
going,
ham on it.
"You see what happens, Larry? You see what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass?"
You're in for a world of pain.
Turns out it's the neighbor's car. So and then the neighbor comes out, takes the golf club, and starts beating up the dude's car, all while Donnie's just sitting in there. Like, what the fuck? And then they go get burgers.
All right, it's like every time like John Goodman's character does something really fucked up, he's like, all right, let's go bowling. Like, after he's just like, he's like, fuck it, dude.
It's not just the 0 to 100; it's the back to 0.
Yeah. And then he's like a really sweet guy, like, you know,
like when he pulls a gun on Smokey, he pulls a gun on a guy who he thinks is cheating at bowling. His foot went over the line. He says, "Mark it a fucking 0," and he's like, "No way, dude, that's an 8." He pulls the gun on him, and then they have to leave because they're calling the cops. And then in the car in the parking lot, he's like, "Walter, you can't do that, man. Smokey, he's real sensitive."
He was like, "Well, I didn't know that."
Walter, I probably wouldn't have done that.
Or when he's in they're in the diner, and then he's like cursing really loud, and then the waitress comes up. It's like, "You can't speak like that in here. I'm gonna have to throw you out." And he's just cussing her out. And then at the end, he's like, "I'm gonna finish my coffee. I'm gonna finish it."
He's talking about, "I didn't fight in Vietnam to be told what to do in diners." One other moment. So at some point, the dude meets with the porn magnate, and he has a meeting with him. And he sees the porn guy, Jackie Treehorn, writing a note after he takes a phone call. And the dude, this is like the first piece of real investigation he's done, because he's basically acting like a private eye this whole movie, but just actually is just getting whipped between all these different interested parties. He's pretty listless, but he tries to investigate. He does the trick where it was on a notepad, so he colors across the notepad on the second sheet to see what was written down.
Yeah.
And it's just a picture of a man with a giant penis.
Yeah.
And that leans into the big dream sequence, which maybe we'll talk about in It's an Art.
It's an Art, yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think we went through mostly everybody. Just great performances all around.
Yes. Final thing. I love when, you remember the back-to-back limo rides where he's getting real comfortable with his drink in the one limo ride, and then somebody grabs him as he comes out, and he's like, watch the drink, man. Can't you see I have a beverage?
I love his conversation with the limo driver in the first limo, and he's just like, man, I was really down in the dumps earlier today, but man, life is good, man.
I love how every time he gets comfortable, he starts putting his legs up.
Yeah, he looks really comfy.
He's just like me, for real.
Yeah, seriously. You do wear those types of cardigans too, those like sweaters, yeah.
To smoke a joint in a car, not anymore. In my younger days.
In the younger days, yeah.
He also that car crash. All right, let's get to It's an Art, bro.
All right, let's do it.
What's this?
It's an art project.
Okay, I like it. Picasso. Yeah, that way.
So he's smoking a joint around town, having a roadie beer, and then he crashes his car. And that car hit pretty fucking hard. The whole front end goes up. It was an intense car crash.
He hit a trash can or something. He didn't even hit anything that crazy. It was just like, Jesus.
And
that's when he finds the
note
from the kid's school
that brings him to Larry.
Yeah.
And then the one other thing I want to say in It's an Art is the dream sequences.
Yeah.
There's one.
They're really great.
Really trippy, musical, bowling themed.
Do you remember that mission from GTA when GTA 5 when you're Michael and you get spiked or something? Mm-hmm. You take a hit of a joint and then you start free falling through the city.
Yeah.
I think that was like directly inspired by that scene from Lebowski.
Oh, I believe it. The GTA loves lifting their like film references.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that the quest line? Isn't that with the weed guy?
I think so. Yeah, it's like it's not the main story, but it's like one of the side quests.
If you've never smoked the weed but only played video games, between this and like Far Cry, you would think that weed is like
the
like wildest psychedelic
DMT or something.
You commune with the elves after you smoke this,
and then you see Joe Rogan.
And there is a really long take in the beginning of the movie. I think they do it a couple times when they get up from bowling and they exit the bowling alley and they walk all the way out to the car. And I just appreciate a good long take. It was a very Scorsese-esque
for sure
long take. Very classy.
Dude, this movie was made in 1998. I still think it holds up very well visually. Like I was surprised by how beautiful this movie looked. Like just like the colors, and you're in LA, and so everything is like kind of grimy, and it was just great. I don't know. The cinematography was awesome. I really loved the scene where they're spreading Donnie's ashes over the ocean. There was one moment where it looked really fake and stupid, but then it's like when you cut back and you see like the cliff sides and stuff, it looked really nice. I was like, this is a good looking film.
Yeah. That's your movies age well when you go to real locations and you film them, and it fills it with character.
Yeah.
Have you seen there's some image going around where it's a picture of Samuel L. Jackson in a Marvel thing, and he's just sitting in an office. So you'd think they'd have an office set or build an office, but it's like a chair, and then there's a blue screen behind him, and even the gun he's holding has like tags on it because they're gonna swap out what the visual is on the gun. That's also gonna be an effect. And it's just like, where have we gone where people just can't go to a bowling alley?
Yeah,
you know,
seriously,
go to an office.
Right.
What is
and it's not like they don't have the budget to like rent one of these places out. You know what I mean?
I just don't know. I don't understand. You know, there's like so many movies I feel like from the last like 20 years, they're just going to age like garbage because of all the weird shortcuts that we've decided to take as a...
Well, it's like we need to find the most cost-efficient way to make this movie kind of thing. I don't know.
It's just milking the it's it reminds me of, I watched this 4-hour review of the Star Wars Galactic Cruiser hotel experience. It's a pretty viral video, and the Star Wars Galactic Cruiser experience is shut down. It was at Disney World, right?
Yeah.
And it was a 2-night thing that this girl paid like $3,500 a person.
Yeah, it's fucking expensive.
And it's basically a big like role-playing game where there's some actors that are, you know, going through the plot
You're
line.
basically in a space hotel, essentially.
You're in a hotel in a backlot in Disney World, but it's
Yeah.
all themed to be like a galactic cruiser.
So like the windows would be, it's like a screen that shows you the stars and stuff.
Mhm.
It's supposed to immerse you.
And there's just so much in that story that seems like, all that stuff, I think, like a lot of the actors and all that stuff was supposed to be in the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, or Star Wars the theme park itself, but then they decided they're going to roll back a lot of the things that they announced for the theme park, where there's going to be like storylines and lots of characters. There'd be like people in big costumes and droids. They're like, not doing that. And then they're like, wait, we're going to put it behind a paywall at this hotel.
Yeah.
And even there, it's kind of chintzy. Like she was on, there's like an app that makes everything work, that you're like kind of talking to the actors in real life, and then things are getting like moved along in the storyline kind of through the app and setting you up to like, oh, you've talked with this character a bunch. They think they trust you, so you're going to meet with them at this time, and there's going to be a bunch of people that, you know, show up in the storage closet to discuss the plan at 1:00 or whatever.
Right.
But her app didn't work, and nobody knew how to fix it. And like she never got on a storyline.
Yeah.
And the whole time you're like, this is a 2-day experience that's $6,000, you know?
Yeah.
And after watching this whole thing, I just think of like there's a lot of bean counters high up on, like, I'm thinking of like David Zaslav at HBO. I'm thinking like everybody in charge at Disney, where they're just like sucking dry any goodwill that these companies have made in exchange for like that extra few bucks of profit.
For sure.
And sure, you have an obligation to your shareholders, but I feel like there also needs to be some like long-term like people love Disney locations, Disney cruises. They will pay too much money for that stuff.
Yeah.
But like when you're you know, slowly just making chintzier and chintzier like stuff being cheaper, like that goodwill's gonna evaporate, and then you're just gonna have an expensive theme park that nobody wants to go to.
Well, yeah. that's pretty inevitable, honestly, though. There's no way you can maintain that for so long.
I feel like that's a metaphor for a lot of the blockbusters that flopped recently. It's an expensive theme park that nobody wants to go to. Like you've chipped away all the goodwill. You've made the most ugly movie ever when you made Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And it cost you $300 million. Like, how did it happen?
Right.
That was a little bit of a tangent, a sidetrack.
But I think that's important to
bottom
shout
line,
out.
Movies age well when you go to places and film things and you know, have real neon.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. And then you have something more for your actors to work with. You know what I mean? It's like the Star Wars prequel thing where it's like we're just walking around a giant set with a bunch of green shit, and we're like, what am I supposed to be looking at? You know? So,
shall we move along?
I got a few more things to say about It's an Art.
Do it.
So the music, number one, the music is awesome in this. Just some great soundtracks. I couldn't name any of the songs right off the bat, but I mean, you could probably check it out on Wiki. But Wikipedia also says that, because I know you were mentioning earlier how the dude is based on a real guy. This is what Wikipedia says. The dude is mostly inspired by Jeff Dowd, an American film producer and political activist the Coen brothers met while they were trying to find distribution for their first feature, Blood Simple. And Dowd had been a member of the Seattle Seven, liked to drink white Russians, and was known as the Dude. So, yeah, this guy was directly inspired by a real-life dude. And that's pretty cool, man. The dude abides.
No, you're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. Dude. It was like, dude, the dudester, El Duderino.
The Dude is a pretty good nickname. If I could be known as the Dude, I'd be all right with that. You know, I wouldn't want to be the guy.
No, you
but
don't want to be a guy.
would be good.
Being a guy and being a dude are two different things.
Yeah, yeah.
Fella? Hell no.
Nah. Hey there, fella. All right, let's move on.
Hey, what are you trying to say?
All right, let me just get that last measurement on your
Thank you. You know, I need this for the wedding.
Okay, well,
I need it really quickly. Like
it could take about a week to do.
It could take a week.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you trying to say? He's trying to say that I'm so big, my bum is so big, you need to order to various countries far away to get enough material to make a pair of pants so I can fit my incredibly obese buttocks into a pair of your specially made little suit.
No, I mean I'm the only one working here this week.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that would be great.
This is where we talk about the themes. And this movie is not like heavily laden with themes, but I think a theme that is in a lot of Coen Brothers stuff is the Coen Brothers do not like the police, and they don't think they're very good at their jobs. Because if you remember the one policeman, or there's two policemen that we meet. There's the the guy in the tow lot where he's like, dude, do you have any like leads or anything? He's like, yeah, we got a bunch of boys down at the precinct working this up. Yeah, man.
And then he just starts laughing at him. like, thanks, guys. This is where my tax dollars are going towards. Like,
he just starts mocking him for asking if there's any hope of catching the people that stole his car.
And pissed in his car or whatever. Yeah. Somebody did something in there that smelled bad.
And then there's the guy who, after the dude meets with the porn star or the porn producer, and then he gets drugged and he gets picked up by the police, and he just fucking assaults him and screams at him and tells him, don't come to my town ever again.
Well, there's also some officers that he calls to his house the first time his car is stolen.
Oh, yeah.
And they're in there talking. They're not taking this seriously either.
They're more the Fargo style of police officers where they're just kind of good-willed.
Yeah. I mean, the one guy was like really invested in the dude's story.
He gets... What is he looking for? I just remember the somebody on the answering machine. He's like, something else is missing, and they're like, hi, I have your rug. It's overhead.
Or no, it's like, I'm the one that stole your car or something like that. And then you're like, oh, that wraps that up nicely.
So Coen's, I don't think they like the police, and it's a theme. Almost every time a cop shows up in a Coen Brothers movie, they're just an asshole. They're mostly a hindrance.
Well, I'm trying to think, like, No Country for Old Men, they were pretty competent for the most part. At least the sheriff was.
Yeah, but also he didn't get anywhere.
That's true. That's true. That's very true.
The whole point of that movie is like it was all for nothing, kind of.
Nobody got anywhere in that movie. Like, literally.
This, in a weird way.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Also, the dude is just, he's kind of a piece of shit. You know, he didn't really achieve much in life. But then at the same time, you have the other Lebowski who apparently achieved everything in life, so he says. And it's like they're both unhappy, so.
Oh no, he brings him down and calls him lazy and gives him the whole I'm the greatest generation spiel.
Yeah,
and I love that the dude just leaves and he says, "Yeah, I could take any rug." That's what he said.
And then he's like, he's got the young wife that doesn't love him and is
Bunny.
there for the money.
And she never actually was kidnapped. We find out that she just ran off to Vegas to be with some of her young, age appropriate friends.
Yeah. Her age-appropriate friends.
Shall we let the hate flow through you?
Let's do it.
Good. Use your aggressive feelings, boy. Let the hate flow through you.
This is where we air out our annoyances and our complaints.
I think the runtime was a tad bit too long for my taste. I think it kind of overstayed its welcome just a bit. But then it's you have that ending where it kind of wraps everything up kind of nicely, and then you got that little monologue by our cowboy guy, and it wraps up very nicely.
Yeah, I don't know if Donnie needed to die. I kind of like I love the showdown with the nihilists and the cars on fire and all the dialogue around that. Donnie dying kind of felt like a little bit of a shot in the dark of maybe we're gonna get some feelings out of this. It does sideswipe you in a way where you're like, oh damn, not Donnie.
Yeah, seriously. But it's funny because even the narrator points that out at the end. He's like, I didn't like that part when Donnie died.
Yeah, he does.
So it's that's how the audience was supposed to feel damn, that's kind of fucked up. Why did Donnie have to go like that?
And I think the Coen brothers are kind of nihilists.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of their movies end with, well, shit. That's kind of all you can get from it. Oh, seriously. No, that was a tragedy, huh?
Yeah. It's No Country for Old Men. Llewellyn, he does all that just to die horribly at the end.
Off screen.
You don't even see his death. Yeah. And then the bad guy kind of gets away. That's... Yeah.
Well, doesn't the bad guy, he gets hit by a car?
He gets hit by a car, but then he walks off. He's fine.
Or Fargo, pretty nihilistic. Honestly, all the movies we're going to review, at least in this session, we're doing 3 movies back to back, are all pretty nihilistic.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of their vibe, and I like it. They don't and sometimes it pisses you off the first time you watch their movies, but they don't like karmic justice. They hardly ever do it.
Yeah.
They don't like the dramatic reveal. It's killing Llewellyn off screen in No Country for Old Men, you know? They like to kind of undercut your expectations.
Raising Arizona.
That is
they kind of end on a happy note,
And that movie exists in a Looney Tunes universe.
Yeah.
It's when they get a little more wacky. But there are movies that exist closer to the real world are way more nihilistic. There's that sure. And the Hudsucker Proxy, which we will cover, are a little bit more but they're also the zanier movies. They're so elevated and they have kind of a happier story, happier ending, happier themes.
Sure.
More classic arc to their structure. But I don't have a lot to hate in this movie. Not at all.
Nope.
All right, should we get to our final question?
Let's do it.
Is this a perfect movie?
He lost a baby brother. Perfect in every way.
I had a baby brother. I had a little baby brother. And he was perfect. Perfect in every way.
Yes.
I think, easy yes. If you haven't seen The Big Lebowski, you should check it out. It's highly recommended. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's kind of, would you say this is a stoner flick?
The key character is a stoner.
Yeah. It kind of has that vibe of Harold and Kumar, where it's they're just constantly getting into bullshit and nothing can ever go right.
Yeah.
know?
No, it's 100%. I would say it can go in the stoner flick.
Yeah.
It's smarter than most stoner flicks.
For sure.
A lot, you're talking about what is it? How High?
Yeah.
Or whatever, where the bar for stoner flicks is pretty low. This is an excellent movie. It's on the perfect movie list. But yes, it is definitely a stoner vibe.
And I just love the look of it. It's just a great looking movie. I love the scenes in the bowling alley. A bowling alley is such a interesting place to have good cinematography. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I actually I just thought of it. I should have said this in Instant Art, but the opening montage where everybody's bowling and we like follow the bowling ball go down.
It's awesome.
And we just get some like slow-mo views of a guy with like a big punch getting ready to
yeah.
I think it was the Jesus's backup guy, because you know the like chubby white guys that's in the
just
background
kind of there. Yeah.
Just hanging. It's his Donnie. I'm gonna fuck you up.
Don't worry about that. That guy's a pedo. Isn't that what he said? The guy's a pedo. An 8-year-old girl, man. An 8-year-old girl.
It's not funny.
No, it's not.
It's funny. All right. Big Lebowski. We'll put it on the perfect movie list. Good enough. All right, next week. We're kind of alternating between like the big hits of Coen Brothers and then some of my personal favorites. So next week we'll be doing Inside Llewyn Davis, or next episode I should say. Oscar Isaac movie, very music themed in the 1950s. Like, what's the word?
You're looking at me. I don't know.
The genre of music that they're playing.
It's like folk kind of music.
Folk is what I was looking for.
Bluegrass or
in
something.
my head, I kept saying like indie and indie rock, and I'm like, no, that's a modern term.
No,
it's in
it's
the
like
50s folk scene in New York. Speaking of Star Wars, Oscar Isaac and Adam Driver.
Oh my gosh!
And Justin Timberlake. Wait,
and that's a 2016 movie. That was like a year after Force Awakens. That was a big time for them.
All right, so next week, Inside Llewyn Davis.
Time for plan B. You might want to watch out that front window, Larry. Son, this is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass! Language problem here. Little prick stonewalling me.
Walter! What are you doing, man? What are you doing?
Here you go, Larry. You see what happens? You see what happens, Larry? You see what happens? This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass, Larry. This is what happens, Larry. You see what happens, Larry? You see what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass? This is what happens. You see what happens, Larry? You see what happens, Larry? Do you see what happens, Larry, when you fuck a stranger in the ass? This is what happens, Larry. This is what happens, Larry. This is what happens, Larry. This is what happens when you fuck a stranger.
What the fuck you doing, man? Stop it! Hey, man. I just popped that fucking gun last week.
Whoa.
I'm gonna fucking kill you. I just popped the fucking gun last week.
Come on, man.
I'll kill your fucking gun,
No,
man.
no, hey, that's not his head.
God damn it! Oh, fuck you!
Man. No.
You like that? Fuck you!
No!
I'll kill you fucking gun! I'll kill you